Okay, if it's not the audio, it's the visual, and if it's not that, it's whatever. Okay, I think I got it all sorted out now. So, my husband in church. No, these two, these two are never together in the same sentence, and I would doubt ever physically that would occur. Okay. Um, to say that my husband hates Christians is, yeah, probably about right. So mostly, and we used to talk about this together all the time too, about, just horrible things that we thought about, Christianity itself and the people who were Christians and all this kind of business. So it was more than a surprise or shock or whatever that this all came about in the way that it did for me, as far as he was concerned. And there are so many times where he'll just look at me and be saying, like, what are you doing? Whatever. So I've never invited him, and I never actually thought that I would. And we would talk about that sometimes, and I would say, "Hun, even if I got baptized and you didn't want to go that day, I wouldn't mind at all." And he's like, "You really wouldn't be mad at me?" And I'm like, "No." And then he'll go back and forth thinking that I'm, no, do I look fat in these pants? No, it's not one of those. Like, I really, I really mean that it wouldn't bother me. And I've never invited the kids either. So, I mean, it's just what's happening. So, there's someone at my husband's work who is Catholic. And I don't know how they got onto this subject matter, but it was of some interest to my friend's coworker that I was going to, an Eastern Orthodox church. So he would mention it from time to time, and I guess that they had had some manner of conversations regarding it. And then maybe about the second or third time that my husband had been mentioning it, I think he said, he wants to know if you with his wife would want to go to his church with him. And I said, well, okay, sure. And what if we did a church swap? And he was like, what is that? So I said, well, I go to yours, you go to mine. He's like, okay. So he carries the message back to his coworker, and then I get an email. So we're coordinating like Saturday visits and Sunday morning visits and this kind of thing. Now, because his wife was attending, I guess, or because it's his coworker, I guess, he just expected naturally that my husband would be going as well. So in this email contains you and your husband, blah, 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 going to church, la, 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 and going to church with my husband's, yeah. So now I have it actually written in an email, those two words that are mutually exclusive, doing an activity that never should, would, could happen, right? So I sort of casually mention this to my husband, and I say, did you have the impression that your coworker thought that you would be attending, or does he think that you come with me every week, or what's the deal with this? He's like, I don't know. And I said, well, don't come on my account. It's okay. And I know his wife anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. So he goes, well, I don't know, maybe I'll go. And I was like, okay. And I said, don't go to please me, because it doesn't if you don't want to be there. And he's like, no, it's not that. And like the wheels in his head are turning. I'm like, who am I talking to? Where did you come from and where did my husband go? So I said to him, look, I don't want you to answer. Tell me now. Just think about it for yourself on your own, whatever. But I'm going to email him back, and I just won't mention you. And then you can coordinate with him if you want. So it might actually turn out that not only will my husband be coming to the church that I go to, but a Catholic church too, and during Lent. So I don't know how this happened. I have some inkling of ideas of who might be responsible for this, and I'm not talking about God, but I'm talking about there are some certain people who I think were absolutely like visualizing and praying for this, which is something far beyond what I ever would have considered to mention when I'm in prayer. But if you did that, if you seriously, seriously did that, um, yeah, let me know because I think this is all too funny. I mean, like, if you only knew. All right, so it's going to make the weekend a lot more interesting and spicy. So I hope today at the 5 o'clock I'll be able to go to that, what do you call it? The St. Andrew liturgy. And I'll have stuff to report back to you about that. I still have a ton of these other videos to do, catching up, and look forward to talking with y'all later. Bright blessings of peace.